We are going to look at Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey through the lens of The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. One of the first things we want to do as scholars of English is determine the kinds of writing that we're working with. And in this case, we're going to be working with a fable. So we want to think about structure much like a biologist does when he or she begins to classify different kinds of animals or plants. Different kinds of writings have different qualities. And so the fable is really close to the parable and to the allegory. A parable is a simple story used to illustrate a moral or religious lesson, and an allegory is a story or a poem, a picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or a political one. Now, these are not absolutes. There can be some crossover into the various kinds of writing. And often, so let's look at the qualities of a fable. First of all, the pictures that I'm using are from the graphic novel that was produced on The Alchemist, and you might want to pick that up. It's kind of a neat version. So usually a fable is a short story or poem. Frequently it will have animals for characters, and the animals can talk. It's didactic, which means that it attempts to teach a lesson. So didactic means that it's a story told on two levels. I kind of think of it like teachy-preachy. It teaches a story or a lesson, but it's also got a moral to it. Parables and allegories are both like that as well. Often it will use personification when we give human qualities to non-living things in order to express abstract ideas in human terms. And almost always there's a moral to the story. We're going to be looking at the hero's journey, and we're going to be looking specifically at a pattern called the monomyth, which was coined by Joseph Campbell. And Joseph Campbell was a scholar, and there'll be another video to watch about him. But he took the term monomyth from the book Finnegan's Wake by James Joyce. And there are a whole series of different steps that one goes through on the journey of the monomyth. We're going to begin with the section called the separation, and we're going to look at that particular phase of or stage of the hero's journey. The first thing is that usually there are fabulous circumstances surrounding the conception, the birth, the childhood, which establishes the hero's pedigree and often constitutes their own monomyth cycle. So the birth process itself can be considered a step, its own hero's journey. The hero receives a call to adventure. Let's take a look at a clip from Harry Potter, and we can kind of see two parts to the first stage of the hero's journey, the call to the adventure and a refusal to the call, although Harry doesn't spend much time refusing.
Excuse me. Who are you?
Rubeus Hagrid, keeper of keys and grounds at Hogwarts. Of course, you'll know all about Hogwarts.
Sorry, no.
No? Blimey, Harry, didn't you ever wonder where your mum and dad learned it all?
Learnt what?
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
A wizard. And a thumping good one, I'd wager, once you trade up a little.
No, you've made a mistake. I mean, I can't be a wizard. I mean, I'm just Harry. Just Harry.
Well, just Harry. Did you ever make anything happen? Anything you couldn't explain when you were angry or scared?
Dear Mr. Potter, we are pleased to inform you that you have been accepted at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
He will not be going, I tell you. We swore when we took him in we'd put a stop to all this rubbish.
You knew. You knew all along and you never told me.
Of course we knew. How could you not be? My perfect sister being who she was. Oh, my mother and father were so proud the day she got her letter. We have a witch in the family. Isn't it wonderful? I was the only one to see her for what she was. A freak. And then she met that Potter. And then she had you, and I knew you would be the same, just as strange, just as abnormal. And then, if you please, she went and got herself blown up, and we got landed with you.
Blown up? You told me my parents died in a car crash.
A car crash? A car crash killed Lily and James Potter?
You had to say something.
It's an outrage. It's a scandal.
You'll not be going.
Oh, and I suppose a great muggle like yourself's going to stop him, are you?
Muggle?
Non-magic folk. This boy's had his name down ever since you were born. He's going to the finest school of witchcraft and wizardry in the world, and he will be under the finest headmaster that Hogwarts has ever seen, Albus Dumbledore.
I will not pay to have some crackpot old fool teach him magic tricks.
Never insult Albus Dumbledore.